Okay, so it's been a while. I figured well overdue an update. I haven't updated between now and when was it? Probably April, I think was the last time I did a video. Because very little's been going on, as always, which it's a bit of a pain, but it's how things have been. Just so hard to find time for this thing. It really is. And annoyingly, I used to blame it on the fact it was parked on the drive, that I couldn't go out there and work on it, but now it's in this nice clean dry workshop. It's even easier to forget about it because you don't have to worry about the thing rotting away in the rain. It's just sitting here nice and safe and sound, doing absolutely nothing. So yeah, very little going on. Let's have a look. Started having a look at these front wings again. I keep coming back to these. I always thought it would be a good starting point, but every time I go to start on them, I realise how much I've really got to do with them and try and find an easier bit of the car to work on. But what I've realised is there is no easier bit of the car to work on, so I just need to kind of get on with it, really. Quandary I'm facing with this, in a nutshell, I have the front end cut off of a Mk1 Golf to kind of provide donor panels for this thing. Now obviously all this section will be the same as the Mk1 Golf, it's only slightly different here, where you got the headlight cut out, and also this detail down here where the Jetta one's built out a bit more, the Golf curves round, whereas this is a bit more pronounced. Now the quandary is, do I pick off all the spot welds of this, try and remove the inner wing as one complete panel, do the same on the Golf, and then weld that in place? Or do I try and do it from cut sections and rebuild it that way? I mean, all this inner arch section here is kind of all right. It's just these upper bits. So this is the outside of where the rain tray sits, and obviously this whole upper section here, that's all absolutely screwed where the strut tower is, and then this front bit. So option one, replace it as a whole, or option two, do it as panels. I really don't know what's for the best. Either way, if I do get the Golf front wing on it, I'm going to have to then cut this front bit off of the Golf front wing and weld this Jetta bit on. I haven't managed to get hold of this Jetta panel, as you can see, which is handy, but it doesn't have enough of the inner wing on it to do a complete repair. So whatever happens, I'm going to have to use both sections. I don't know what to do. I don't know what would be best. As you can see, I still haven't built up the courage to remove this rear window. They're so hard to get hold of. If I could get hold of the window seal, I'll just cut the seal out and try and keep the glass, but the only one place I've seen where I can get hold of a replacement seal, they want so much money for it, it's unbelievable. So ideally I'd like to keep everything as it is and just pop the window out, but yeah, I haven't built up the courage to do that yet. I'm not convinced I can do it without breaking it. So let's save that for another day. I have taken some carpet out of here, as you can see. Check this out though. In all these little grooves, it's filled with this weird waxy crap. Now, in the middle of winter, that would have been fine. It would have just chipped off all right, but it's quite warm in here these days. And yeah, it's really not coming off easily. It's just kind of squidging about, and it's horrible. It's everywhere. I don't know if that's meant to be there or previous owner spilt a pint of milk in the back or something. But either way, it's minging and it needs to go. Started putting the carpet up here, you can see. Quick poke around. The floors still seem all right. I am finding more and more little spots on the sills, as you can see, which will undoubtedly become much more major and much more work. So yes, just keep adding to the list of things to do and not really ticking anything off. But back to the current quandary. I'm going to try and stay focused on these inner wings. I think if I can get these done, then that'll be a real turning point, actual progress in the right direction. So I really need to focus on these and try and come up with a solution. I'm pretty sure that the best way of doing it would be to replace the whole panel. It'll pick off every spot weld and do it like that. It'll just be neater, more solid. Trouble is, I'm really not convinced that I'm going to be able to pick off the inner wing panel of the Golf front end I've got without bending it or doing irreparable damage to it anyway. There's a motorbike dude next door. In which case, I'm thinking more along the lines of going for the panel chops. I'm gonna have to do a chop anyway to get this Jetta bit on, so I might as well use as much of this as I possibly can, which I think will cover this section here and take me to the top of this strut. I'll then have to grind off and hopefully keep the strut tower, but then do another panel from the Golf for this bit. I mean, either way I'm going to have to pick off these spot welds on the Golf bit. But I just think it's going to be easier to work with these smaller sections than it would to try and remove an entire inner wing without bending it and warping it and creasing it, and I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, this is the first time I've ever done shit like this, so I have no idea. I'm just planning ahead and trying to come up with all the problems before they actually present themselves. But yes, answers on a postcard, please. I'll happily heed anyone's suggestion as to what's probably for the best. Whole panel or little chopped up bits. Yes. But for now, that's what hasn't been happening.